We are live. YouTube, what is going on? Chris with Journos, Comics, and Pop Culture. Beechner, Isaac. Happy to see you guys, early birds. I appreciate the support always. Thank you for joining me today, guys, on a Tuesday. I'm just hanging out. We have a special guest today. I'm so excited to have this fellow YouTuber with me today. We're going to give it a couple minutes to let some folks join. And of course, as always, for those watching on the rewind, you might want to fast forward a couple minutes. Otherwise, just sit and relax. It's another hot day out here in California. Woo! But we're going to show off some hot books. We're going to be guessing some grades. And this is the last 4 books out of my 13 CGC submission. Indeed, indeed. Guys, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I want to give a big shout out to Cobra Commander, who was the winner of my giveaway for my 2K live stream celebration show that happened last week. So big congrats to Cobra Commander. Thank you so much for the continued support. So I'll be getting him a package shortly here. All right, guys, we're going to give it a couple more minutes just to let some more folks get in, and then we're going to introduce our special guest today. B. Schnur, you said you were from Jersey, right? Oh, you just got the CLZ app. Yeah. So I absolutely love the notebooks, right? I would spend, who here, I mean, I'm sure almost all of us have some sort of notebooks where we jotted down runs and the issues that we needed, and we would bring that to the comic book store and mark them off as we go. And I never wanted to stop doing that. But when I finally got the CLZ app, I was like, why didn't I do this years ago? So absolutely. I mean, the CLZ app is so amazing. Just for, having it in one place on your phone if you're in the hunt. And one thing for me is I hit up sales a lot. So when I'm there early and I'm like first in line, and I usually know what I want to go through, and I can pull it up on my CLZ app. And it's like I always say, I don't know if you guys are younger, if you know the show Supermarket Sweep, but it was a game show where you would have a time limit, and you'd go like try to get the most expensive stuff to shove in your cart. So that's what I'm doing. Like when they open the doors and I'm running in and I'm running to like whatever I think is hot and I want to grab, and I have it all up there on my phone in the CLZ app. It makes life so much easier. So Essex County. Yeah, I have a lot of folks from Jersey, but funny thing, I've never been there. So guys, let's give it one more minute, and then we're going to bring in our special guest. Again, we got 4 books. You guys can see them right here. These are the 4 books that we're going to grade today, or guess the grade. They're obviously already graded. Double S, what's going on? Just added more to my notebook today without thinking about it, even though you already got, hey, you know what? You can always do both still. Apple, what is going on? All right, guys, who's ready to introduce Alex the Comic Hoarder? So, guys, if you're not subscribed to Alex, I don't know where you guys have been for the last like however many years. So link is in the description. You can also see right down there, Alex the Comic Hoarder _ YouTube. Go check him out at Instagram. So without further ado, let's bring in the one and only Alex the Comic Hoarder.
What's
Alex?
Up? What's up, Chris? How's it going, man?
What's going on?
So
we are good. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. So I would go straight for the turkey because you saw them like they'd push that cart straight to the turkey section.
Yes.
And they'd pile in those big old turkeys, as many as they could fit into that cart.
Absolutely. Oh man, I'm glad someone else knew what I was talking about.
Oh, I love that show. Back in was it 80s or early 90s or something like that?
Yeah, definitely 80s. I think in the 90s they did I don't know if it was new episodes, but they at least showed reruns, because I remember staying home during the summer and when I was in the house watching all those Supermarket Sweep and what was that? The No Whammy show, Pressure Luck,
Oh yeah,
all
yeah,
those
great
shows, man.
show too.
Awesome stuff. So Alex, so yeah, man. For those that don't know, why don't you just talk a little about yourself and your channel on YouTube and what you bring to the community.
For sure. So we started both in the same year. You started in earlier that year, and then I started later that year. So I'm coming up on 4 years on YouTube, and I was inspired to do YouTube because what I would be doing, I would sit in my car, like in front of a comic shop or wherever I knew there was comic books, and I'd be watching haul videos, like what are these guys picking up? What are they looking for? And I wasn't trying to buy exactly what they bought, but I wanted the challenge of finding what they found. So if they said, man, this thing is a ghost, I've never found one before, and I'd go into a shop and try to find one. So what I do is I just show. I'm a buy and show type person. And the reason is I think we talked about it a little bit before. It's a hobby where before the internet and before YouTube, you would kind of just collect by yourself. Nobody would know except for like your one buddy at school that you collected
Right.
comics or read comics. I remember loaning out my like Death of Superman or Funeral for a Friend to a buddy on the bus. And every time they would come back with more and more dings and wrinkles. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, there goes my, like my college fund. Because I thought I was going to be rich because of those. But anyways, I love my videos of choice are haul videos. I love seeing what people got and showing it off and sharing that experience of buying and hunting and sharing that with the community. So that's kind of what I base my
Absolutely.
channel on.
Indeed. Indeed. And again, guys, for those that aren't subscribed to Alex, please check the link below and go give him a sub. Alex was, back in the early days of me even coming on YouTube, I've shared my story before. I just recently shared it on my 2K live stream, where what really got me watching YouTube was the fact that I was building this room. Did a custom unit made, and I started looking at like custom comic book units, and then I just started seeing all these YouTubers and realizing there's this huge community out there. And I think Alex, going on the 4 years now, man. I mean, you have been somebody that just took off running, and I love watching your stuff. I love your excitement that you bring, and you influenced what we're going to do today with your CGC unboxings.
Nice.
And just saying this pre-show, I just YouTubers don't get me wrong, there's many of them out there. I don't want to put anyone above the rest, but we really could have our own TV shows on Hulu or Netflix, and we would sit and watch this stuff. And I think what you do and what you bring to the table is such, it's that evening entertainment for me. So I'm happy to be able to share this unboxing or revealing with you, since obviously you were the inspiration for it.
Oh, thanks, man. Anytime I can get involved with CGC unboxing, those are the first videos that I click on, like must watch every time. CGC unboxing, and I'm like, dude, I gotta watch. I actually searched CGC unboxing and subscribed to 2 new channels last night because I found them, and they were so great. One guy's named Jason, and he's got like an Australian accent or some sort of New Zealand accent, and the guy, when he gets a 9.8, he's pumping his fist and he's going nuts, banging on the table. So good.
That's awesome. Yeah. So before we get into the books, I wanted to bring up too, again, another. Well, nope, that's not it. That's my Overstreet. I got my trusty books right next to me here. Here we go. So I wanted to give another big shout out to you for showing this book off. And this book has been extremely helpful, the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics. Guys, if you guys are into, even if it's not, slabbing books, but you just enjoy having a feel for grading, check this book out. I mean, I literally have read maybe, 20 pages of it going through. That's all yet. But even that, and just studying the breakdown has helped me so much. So So what inspired you to go after this book?
I think Cougar Comics was one of the guys who's really good at grading, and he's done a lot of videos on grading that have been out for years and years, probably 7, 8, 9 years. And he always talked about defects and allowable defects. He was one actually that showed if you're collecting Silver Age, buy a Silver Age and a 3.0. Buy a Silver Age. It doesn't have to be a real expensive book, but buy a Silver Age and a 5.0. Buy a Silver Age and an 8.0. You can find those for under $100 because it doesn't have to be an expensive Fantastic Four book or whatever. But then you will get to know, like, well, this 3.0 has a lot more spine ticks and corner creases, color breaking, everything than this 5.0, and then much less than this 8.0. But that book just helps me get the definitions a little bit better, because I didn't know like what foxing is, or what the difference between foxing and mold is, or just stuff like that. Tanning, allowable defects, what the definition of the grades are, and allowable defects within each grade. I think that's the most helpful thing to me, is just the defects, allowable defects.
Right. Absolutely. I hear you. And I will say, so out of my, I have my list here. And before we get into the books too, I want to give a shout out to all the viewers in a second here too. But I got my list of what I thought the grades were going to be when I sent them out of all my books. I've revealed 9 so far. And out of those 9, 5 of them I got spot on. 2 of them were off by 1 grade point. And then the other 2 were one of them was a huge disappointment. The other one was it was okay. But so, and I will say this, watching your videos and getting into this book I think definitely helped me for sure. So.
Oh my gosh. It's so much fun doing those videos, because you just have no clue what it's going to be. And also too, if you have expectations that your book is going to be a 5 and it turns into like a 6.5,
yes,
you can get as excited as the dude that's getting the 9.8s, because your expectations are 5 and you're getting a 6.5. So it's just fun.
Indeed. Indeed. All right, let's give some shout outs here to everyone. We had the Early Worms, Isaac, Bishner, Double S, Apple, Cobra Commander. I was just saying congrats for winning my 2K live prize. I did respond to your email if you haven't got that yet. So I'll probably be able to send your package out next week. Coffee Breath, what is going on? Discovery Bay. Kid Collector, what's going on? And Ninja Slicer, my 2K sub. He will always be infamously known now, Ninja Slicer, for being my 2K sub. All right, guys. Well, should we get into some books? Whew.
I'm excited.
I think so. It's Alex, you were just saying about how hot and muggy it is there. I'm pretty hot and muggy over here, so it's about to get hotter because we got some hot books coming up for guys. So really,
I'm like glistening here. That's just the light. It's like the glare off my head.
I hide it because I'm wearing the hat, but really interesting thing. So the thumbnail design for today's live stream was a CGC slab, and it was a custom Spidey book with the Spider-Man web in the background. Mm-hmm. And ironically, every book that we have to show off today is Spidey themed.
Nice.
I did not do that on purpose. But hey, does that sound good to you, Alex?
You're a run collector, and Amazing Spider-Man is one that I know you're going for, so I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah. There's one that's not actual Spider-Man, but it is Spider themed, and then there's a couple amazing. But some good stuff. So I got a couple of higher grades and a couple of, well, I don't know. I don't want to give too much away here, but I did say there's a couple of higher grades because obviously I have my grades of what I guess. So I'm going to let that be known. And then I think why I kind of mixed them up was because I want to test you and the viewers, because you guys can guess the grade too.
Yeah.
How skilled you are at guessing those higher grades. And then maybe your skill of guessing more of a, middle grade, or one that has maybe more a wiggle room of error and so forth. So should we get into the first book?
Oh my gosh, let's do it. I'm
okay.
Already embarrassed for myself about how I'm going to grade these things.
All right, guys, here we go. Putting Alex on the spot. All right, so the first book up. This is a book that I received in the mail as a mail subscription order from Marvel. For those of you that don't know how Marvel ships their subscription books, okay, they're basically in a like a bag like this with a basically a backing board that's not even a backing board. It's about maybe half the thickness of a backing board. It's kind of like a thin cardstock, and that's it. Okay, and I have infamous mail deliverers in my area that for so long have bent my comics, even though they do say don't bend. So I had to tape something on my mailbox saying I should take a picture of it, post it on Instagram one day. I literally say, please do not bend books that say do not bend. So this was one of those books. I don't know if they bent it, but I did give it a press and decided to send it into CGC. And it is an Amazing Spider-Man #4, first appearance of Silk. So we're going to go ahead and show this off. I'm going to go big screen here, guys, and have Alex be able to take a good look at it, and you guys to take a good look at it too. And I'll allow you all to try to guess your grade. After I'm done showing it off, I'm going to tell you guys what I thought it was, and then we'll do the reveal. So, all right, Alex, going to go big here for a moment. Here we go. So overall, looks nice and clean. The white is still very white. The spine has about 2 very small spine ticks, no color break. 2 maybe up close to the top. I don't know if you guys will be able to see them. They are extremely small. So you'd have to get like a light glare perfectly on those. Other than that, I mean, the spine is extremely clean. Let's get that glare to see if that glare will help. Just look at the spine. See, really clean. The spine ticks are somewhere up here. Yeah, see, usually if it's a deep, oh, there's one right there. I believe right above his shirt. But yeah, really hard to see. The corners, bear with me. I still have trouble with it being the opposite. Nice, decently clean corners, clean edge of the book. Trying to get the glare out of there. There we go. There's a nice, decently sharp corner.
How's that corner doing? That bottom spine corner.
Right here.
Yeah, how's that doing? Is it got a little like flakiness going on, like a little bent up little section?
You know what? Yep, you're absolutely right. There is, and you know, usually like how we see sometimes on the top, we'll see kind of the cut, how the cut will leave a little bit of flare. This though does seem like a little bit of a blunting.
Like a okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'd call it too, yeah.
The back, decently clean. Again, spine. I see no real issues with the spine on the back. Besides what Alex pointed out, kind of down there at the corner. Smooth edges. See if we can get a good look at this top. Let's do this. Oh, shoot. Did I give away the grade?
No, I didn't look.
Okay, good. I meant to cover it up. I am so sorry. I like how you tape all the parts up.
Yeah, I didn't look. So I hope if somebody looked, don't say it.
Nice sharp corner there. Okay, there's one thing that you guys probably cannot see on this video, and that's a little, what looks to be like a pin dot, and not like a pen dot, like an ink mark, but an indentation that's literally the size of a tip of a paper clip, and it's right there on the back. I don't think, yeah, it's so small. I don't think even the glare is not even going to get onto the book, but it is there, I promise. So my guess for this book, I think, let's see, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man #4. I went ahead and guessed a 9.4 on this book. A couple spine ticks, the little indentation, and the
it was on me for a second.
whoop. How do we get back? Oh, sorry guys.
What's up? Check out my
There we go. A little bit of blunting on the edge of the bottom of the spine there. And I guessed a 9.4.
So I'm counting 3 to 4-ish defects. But so I could say a 9.4 is a good safe, because that's, that near mint 9.4. But I'm hoping it is a clean, from where I'm sitting in the Midwest, it looks really clean. Like that's clean here in the Midwest. So I'm saying, so we've got a lot of like 9.4s, 9.6s. I think a lot of people want it to be a 9.6. I want it to be a 9.8. Like, but with you saying there's 3 for sure, and then that pin, that like pebble dent.
Right. Yep.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna say 9.6. I want it to be a 9.6, and I'm gonna speak it into existence.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the one thing, I mean, I pressed this book and it really helped because I knew that it was a mailer. I don't know if it really got anything out, but I was really hopeful for this to come back decently high. So let's go. Yeah, we had a lot of high grades. I appreciate you guys shooting high. Alex is shooting high with the 9.6. Nelly C says 9.6. Isaac's going with the 9.8.
All right, we ready, guys? Look? How do those ticks look? Are they pretty severe, or are they?
Well, like I said, it's.
If they're just little dots, I mean, it could still be a 9.8 sometimes.
Let me tell you that one book. What was it? Was it a Green Lantern? The one book that you showed off that I think you guessed was a 9.2 that ended up getting a 9.8.
Oh my gosh!
Remember that one? Though I think those spine ticks were worse than these.
Oh, dude. Is it the Catwoman 51?
Oh, yes, that's the one.
Dude, I turned that sucker around and there was like a 1/4-inch ding, like a 1/4-inch like color breaking tick, and it got a 9.8, and I was like, okay.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and do the reveal here.
Get your flex on.
Yeah, I had to double tape them because when I did the first unboxing, the single tape, everyone could see the grapefruit. I'm like, oh, all right, here we go. We got a 9.
Don't be a 9.2. I'd be mad if it was a 9.2 or something dumb like that. Don't do it. As soon as you can see the hump. 9.2?
Yeah.
How?
Yes.
Is it that pebble in the back, you think? That pebble ding?
You know what? I think you could be right, because here's the thing. In all honesty, I didn't notice that when I sent it out. So I guessed a 9.4. And then if I was decently accurate and then they saw that, and that could have dropped it down. I mean, even if for a 9.6 without that, and then that dropped it down. The really interesting thing is I haven't looked at my pictures yet, because I take pictures of all my books before I send them in. And I want to see if I capture that, because I looked over these books extremely well, and I did not see that on the back there. But yeah, in that blunting of the bottom of the spine could have really, taken it down. But I definitely, for how clean it is from coming in the mail, I was hoping to get a 9.4 at least. But I will say this, knowing that it was a mail subscription and to still have it in a 9.2,
absolutely,
definitely makes me happy. So
think about it this way too. The allowable defects in the overstreet say the maximum number of allowable defects for a 9.2 is four defects. And so you've got the 2 spine ticks, you've got the blunted corner, and that pebble ding. So they're pretty consistent right there with a 9.2. Right. So I'm going to be really objective with the next one and just go with what I see on this page. No subjectivity on my end. Here we go.
Let's do this. Okay, so the next one, Before we go on to the next one, actually, real quick, guys. So I got my numbers here. I paid about, let's see, I paid 45% off of cover price for this because it's a mail subscription book. So I paid about $225 for the book. When you take into consideration CGC costs and shipping and all that, my total cost of that book was $37. A fair market value when I did this was $88. So that's a return on investment of $51 if I was to sell it today. Still very, very happy, with the grade. I can't complain too much, although I was hoping for a higher. So, hey, Vincent, thanks for joining today. Okay. Next book.
Yeah, one last comment on that book.
Yes.
I don't know what happened in just last week Thursday, but someone paid $300 on eBay for that book.
Ooh, for a 9.2?
9.2. I don't know what happened according to Go Collect. So I just opened it up and I'm showing.
Wow.
But somebody paid that top one right there.
Look at that.
eBay $723.20. Someone paid $300, but everything else is $90, $85, $90.
Right.
So it's consistently that $85 to $90 book. Yeah. But someone's trying to push that book, I think, right now.
Yeah. And hey, I say we see that new generation of characters getting real hot right now with Miles and Silk and Kamala. So definitely a good book to have still in a 9.2.
Congrats.
All right, so this book, I was hesitant to send this in. I finally did because I had my ASM 300. I wanted my ASM 299 as well. So the reason why I was hesitant to send this book in was because of some yellowing along the spine. So we're going to go ahead and Alex, I'm going to take out for a minute here. I'm going to go big screen. And we're going to look at this book. The first thing I want you guys to see is the spine and how it's a little bit yellowed. So you guys could probably see that there decently. It's a little more tanner than the rest of the cover. And I was very concerned with CGC looking at that and marking the gray down. Other than that, though, when looking at this spine, it is fairly clean. I'm going to flip my light around, guys, real quick, just so I can look at this. There's a little tiny bit of a spine roll that I wasn't able to fully get out with the press. And there's one spine tick that color breaks and maybe one more that doesn't. And that's it. The spine roll or spine stress, should I say, is extremely small or extremely minimal. So let's go ahead and look at this. There's a color breaking spine tick right in here. And again, I know it's challenging for you guys to see it, but it barely breaks color along the edge. There's one more that does not break color right up around here. And if you guys can see a bit of the stress going on, it's probably hard to see through the glass. Let's look at the edges here. Pretty sharp. Focusing right there. Pretty sharp top edge there, corner. Nice, smooth edging across the top. Let me reposition here, guys. Right, there we go. Really smooth across the top.
Pretty sharp corners up there. They look good.
Yeah. And then let me make sure I hold this grade. Looking at the back. Nice, sharp bottom corner. I'm going to say now, because if we look at the front bottom corner, decently sharp, but probably a bit of blending going on there. It's definitely not 9.6 or 9.8 sharp. The bottom's a little more ding than the top, because the top's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the back. No, and on a dark backing, really smooth into the black, especially around the spine. Even that one color breaking tick does not show up on the back anywhere.
Cool. That's good.
So yeah, so I think again, looking at this, you got, and there's definitely some a little bit of rounding going on the bottom corner of the spine right there as well. And then other than that, yeah, that yellowing there just really kind of almost, like I said, turned me off from sending it in. But I did it, and my guess on this, on my Amazing Spider-Man 299, was an 8.5. I have an 8.5 ASM 300. So I was saying, hey, you know what? If I can get this and have it be a twin of my 300 and an 8.5, I would definitely be happy.
So if you were to count up because you got the two corners at the bottom, the maybe like 1 and 2, then you pointed out 2 spine dings, so that would be 3, 4. The yellowing, maybe that could be a consistent. So that would be, let's just say 5 for now. And then what were you talking about spine stress? Like, can you describe like what were you talking about?
Okay, so yeah, I know, and it's tough to see. You know what's interesting? Let's see if I can. I won't bring that up. So I sent in my Wonder Woman, Spider Woman #1 that I thought was going to be a decently high grade. Came back to 6.0. That was my big disappointment. But I noticed there was, and they said in the graders notes, spine stress. This book didn't have graders notes though. But so when we think spine roll, we probably assume, where it's extremely rolled up. It's to an extent to where the front and the back pages aren't lining up. It's not to that extent, but it's just a bit of a stress to where you can see a slight curvature. Maybe not even from reading, but maybe just from sitting, being stacked upon some books. But it is very, very minimal. Yeah, extremely minimal.
So you're thinking an 8.5?
Yes.
There's some good guesses in here too. Like Kid Collector said 7.5 to 8, Cobra Commander 9.0, Isaac Maynard 9.0, Brick Hunter said 8.0. Man, for maximum allowable, so I'm counting like about 7 allowable defects. The maximum it would be, the best it could be is like that 8.5. But so that's my objective grade. It's an 8.5. I'm guessing 9.0. I'm going to say it's a 6. I'm going to guess 8.5, just like you.
You were going to go 9.0?
I was going to, but that would be 6 maximum defects with as little as 4 defects. I think there's more than 4, and I think there's more than 6. I think there's 7 defects on there.
See, guys, Alex comes prepared, man. He comes equipped.
Oh man, I hope I'm not wrong.
All right. Here we go, guys. Here we go. So, man, I think some of you guys, Myth Lab, man, you're probably if you guys watched my Spider Woman #1, you're probably like, man, with this guy's luck, he's gonna get another 6.0, 6.5.
That's way better than a 6.5, hopefully.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Because I get one dings all over that. Okay, as soon as you see the humps, Don't be 2 humps. Be 1. Yes, it's a 9. 9.0.
Boom!
Nice. Congrats.
We got to give. I'm giving it to you, Alex. You know what? Your first, gut instinct was a 9.0. So we're going to give Alex this one. He called this one for sure.
That's good. And yeah, credit to Cobra too and Isaac. They did a good job with that 9.0s.
Indeed. I'm extremely happy. Yeah, I think you know, if I got lower than an 8.5, I would have been extremely disappointed with sending this in. To get a 9.0, I'm like, I'm very happy. It almost makes up for my 6.0 Spider Woman.
Maybe that yellowing isn't that harsh, or that
Yeah.
spine roll is kind of a natural, just how the books lay, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I hear you. Definitely some feasible, you know, pondering going on there. But yeah, because I mean, there's even I think like a little bit of even yellowing around here, but it's mostly on the spine. And I'm just happy, man. These white covers, you know, it's tough. I think that's one reason why my She-Hulk #1 got so low, just because of the white being dinged. But again, you know, you can question, well, yellowing next to dinging, is there a difference there? Do they look at that differently? So, all right, let's look at my numbers here for my Amazing Spider-Man 299. I paid $25 for that book, including cost of CGC. I paid a total of $60. Fair market value that I got is around $80. So still, you know, a $20 return on investment if I wanted to sell that. Obviously, I am not selling it, and it's a book that's going to be in my collection, hopefully forever.
It's a great book. Seeking Nearmint Comics would say that's the first appearance of Venom. That's the first.
Right.
That's the real deal. It's the one with the big Todd McFarlane like full body Venom, right?
Yes.
It's a great back page.
Yes. You know, it's very interesting. I talked about this in a video and a live stream, like a few months ago now, when I got into the big debate about Cameo versus First Full. And Marvel and Overstreet and everyone in the industry back in those days didn't differentiate cameo appearance. Now, I know I did some research. The term cameo in terms of appearances in comics were around probably as early as maybe around the mid to late 70s. But in terms of the industry standard, you look at an older Overstreet, you look at Marvel, you look at Marvel trading cards, and everything that was properly, you know, published within the industry called Hulk 180 the first appearance of Wolverine. They called Hulk. They actually, Marvel even called Amazing Spider-Man 298 the first appearance of Venom, just because what he had he was in the shadow, I think. I forget, but yeah. So it's really interesting how we've evolved to, you know, differentiate the cameo from the first Hulk. Because yeah, there's a few books like that. You know, Hulk 180. You got Avengers 195 for the full Taskmaster back page and speech bubble. So yeah, I love that book because that first appearance of Venom, or first we see Venom, is definitely big. So,
and it's crazy how emotional you can get. Now I can sit here and like cast stones and be like, those losers who get so emotional about this, and then I get so defensive. Like when I have a stance and I like defend that sucker so hard, I'm like, 180 is an advertisement. It's a precursor to like what happens in the meat and potatoes, like the main course. Like 181's the main course, and then the next day I'm like, what loser would argue about that? You know, but it's me. No. I'm the loser who's arguing about it.
Right. No, you know, hey, look, that's the fun of it. We get so passionate about this stuff, and rightfully so. As long as, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I will say, because one thing that I talked about too is with all the controversy, and believe me, like I was a firm believer of saying, like, you know, look, a first appearance is a first appearance, and I do still believe that the term cameo should have never been used, because by textbook definition, it doesn't make sense to call the first of anything to be a cameo. But one thing to where I do appreciate these definitions in today's climate is that it allows for consistency. So, you know, I think, you know, once we got social, you know, the internet and social media, and we got companies like CGC and CBCS I think the industry had to say, well, how do we differentiate this and how do we kind of streamline it? And at least now, just like we can look at, say, like the Overstreet Guide for grading and look at defects and say these things, we can kind of do that same for first appearances and say, okay, how many panels are there? Does he talk? Is it just a back page? And then we could take those things and say, well, then this, I guess, is a cameo and this is a full. And then it's just up to us as consumers to buy whatever we want, right?
Yep.
That's why, hey, I said in my on the Comic Book Cannon show last week when we were talking about Venom 25 being the best-selling book of last week, and how right now the industry is still coining it is Virus's cameo, but yet people are still buying it. So, hey, they want it still, right?
Yeah, it's exactly Brick Hunter said, the market decides. So
yeah,
it's whatever you want. It's whatever you want to buy.
Indeed. Indeed. All right, guys, ready for we got 2 more books. All right.
Oh, I'm thoroughly enjoying this, by the way. I love
awesome.
unboxings.
This book is I will say it's not a near mint book. And like I said, I did that. I wanted to throw some books in here that weren't in that high grade range. This is a book that I am so happy to own, and I was sending this out no matter what. And I think it's a book that's just going to keep getting hotter and hotter. And that's Marvel Spotlight 32, first appearance of Spider-Woman. So let's go into looking at this. It does have the little it's a little off-center cut, but as far as I know, and Alex, right? I'm sorry, that shouldn't do anything to the grade, right?
No, I don't think that's anything.
Yeah. One interesting thing I will point out that I'm a little disappointed with CGC in. I got 2 books that have like a kind of like a ding in the case. It's like somebody took a razor blade and kind of went ding to it. So I'm like, man. But other than that, hey, I just had to throw that out there.
I was watching
no Newton rings or any other scuffs. They're all really.
I think they've solved that or something.
Yeah.
Put bigger cases or bigger spaces in there.
Right. I do love. I mean, every book definitely displays beautifully in these cases. By the way, outside of those 2 little dings. So, all right, let's go ahead. I'm going to go big here. Let's take a look at this. So we got a black background. It's decently black. Some books these age. You'll see. I wouldn't call it fading, but I would say roughage to the black, where you start seeing wear and it starts to take the black up. Not really a lot of that, but I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to get the top to you guys. There we go. There is some kind of a little bit of color breaking action going on along the top there. So just wear along that top edge, where like right through here, you can kind of see a little bit of a color breaking crinkle here, a little bit of crinkling right on the top through there, another little bit right there, a little bit of wear right on the top here. You can see kind of the whitish lack of blackness all along the top, a little bit of scuffing in there. So that's what's going on with the top. If we look at the top corner there, right there, you can still see the black kind of, a little bit of color breaking into the black right there. Little bit of rounding. Well, let me say a little more than a little bit. I mean, that's decent blending action going on to the top of the spine there. Let's look at the edges. These edges are pretty decent till you get to the bottom there and you got some color breaking. We'll come back to that, but really decently smooth. This corner, A little bit of color breaking going on right in there, and it's definitely blended. It's interesting. It looks like it still has all of the corner, like nothing. There's no chipping off, but it's just worn. The black is worn around the corner. That it looks like it's rounded, but yet you still kind of see the tip of the corner still there, still hanging on. Now let's go down to these. These are the biggest color breaks on the book. So you could see about one that's about maybe an inch,
Yep.
and about a half-inch one right there. And then when you get down into the corner again, you see more of like what's going on at that top corner.
Yep. Yep.
There is a manufacturer. I truly believe this to be a manufacturer defect right here, where it's like a paper crinkle going right here all the way out to about right there. So you guys could probably see it looks like a color breaking crease right there, but it's actually not. It definitely, when I was feeling it, it feels like something that got caught in the press.
Caught in the printer, yeah.
Right, right. So that's there. Now let's look at the bottom of the spine. Again, some, decent bluntage going on there. Now, the interesting thing about this spine having the white along it from the back, it probably hides some color breaking ticks. Because I don't see there's nothing color breaking into the edge of the black at all. So that looks pretty decent. The white is a bit dingy, and you can see a bit of let me try to move this a little bit here. You could see a bit of what are ticks like right there. But the really interesting about this spine is it's not really you can see some more like right in there. What's interesting about this spine and how I would describe it is it's not really it doesn't really look like smooth smooth spine ticks. It just looks like kind of a lumpy spine. I don't know if that makes sense, but it definitely has kind of like a lack of smoothness going on.
I think it's just, I know what you're saying. I think it's because of the white, like you said.
Right.
I think it's hiding where those would normally be color breaks.
Right, right. It is very interesting. So that might have played into my favor, the fact that it was a little bit off center in terms of the grade here. The back is, it's really white in terms of it's not yellowed, but it is very dingy. It's got a decent amount of dinge, especially along the spine side and down here. I mean, you can see that along there. And then, so it looks like if we can look right here, not only is that corner rounded and blunted, but you see a little bit of a rip, maybe about not quite a centimeter, right at the corner there. The back corners or edges are decently sharp. It really it's interesting to me how we could see how books are taken care of and how people just really rummage through books to where it really affects that front cover, and that back cover is like not getting touched as much and just maybe sitting on a table while somebody's reading through the rest of the book. And these back corners are so much sharper than the front cover. Really smooth, though. I will say this book is decently smooth. Except for that spine. It's just a really interesting spine with the white. So we'll bring Alex back in. Now, my guess on this one was, let's see, Marvel Spotlight 32. Okay, so I went with a 5.0. I
tough.
sat with that for a long time and said, if I just get that nice 5.0 smack in the middle of the digits, I would be happy.
Smack dab right in the middle.
Well, we got some high ones though. Man, first they were like thinking that my luck was bad, guessing really low. Now they're pushing for me to get some high grades. So I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate the optimism.
So the book screams 6.0 to me. It screams like just the appearance of it just screams 6.0 with the corners the way that they are. The only thing that I'm curious about is those two corner bends at the bottom. And that's where we talk about severity of defect, because you could count those as 3 defects there in that one corner, but are those 2 defects much more severe than other? So in a fine like a 6.0, you can have anywhere up to 12 defects, maximum of 12 defects. So if you're counting the top as like, maybe each corner's 1, and then 2, 3, maybe somewhere in the middle, just, kind of saying that the top has 4, then 5, 6, 7 on the bottom corner. So then you got 7 total, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe on that one side, 12. I don't see much more than, those extra 4 or 5-ish on the spine, but maybe the bottom corner too. So I'm saying it's either going to be a 5.5 or a 6.0, but I'm hoping it's a 6.0 because it just kind of screams 6.0 to me.
Yeah, keep in mind that the rip on the top of the spine there.
And that's another one of like, I've already counted that defect because of the front side, but I don't know if that severity and the rip would be another, like 2 or 3. So it could be like a 5.5 then. If my guess before was a 6.0 based on the maximum of 12 allowable defects, maybe it's a 5.5.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about the crinkle there that I think is a manufacturer?
I have a book just like that. It's the first appearance of Huntress, Helena Wayne, and in like the All-Star Comics, whatever, like number 69, 68 or 69. And it's got that all like the titles right here and all along right here. And it just looks like it skidded in the press. Like it was getting printed and it like got caught a little bit right there. It looks like a manufacturer defect, but I'm not sure. Is this thing like a 4.5 or something like that?
Well, let me say, okay, so we're going to do a reveal. We're going to do the reveal. Now, I had a Thor 165 first hand that I sent in last year, and I was shooting for a 6.0. Mm-hmm. I mean, so much of this and so much of your description reminds me of that book. And decently similar to this book. And it had it had one small one down here, and then it had like a decent size one, like maybe 3 inches of a color break right here.
That would scream 4.0 to me. That big one would scream 4.0.
Yeah, it came back a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that one color break I think really killed it, because when I took the totality of the rest of the book, and I didn't have my trusty guidebook back then either, so but that was a very, very similar situation. So let's see what we got here.
That first number better be a 5. Don't show me a 4. Don't show me. Don't do it. No. What is it, a 4 or 5?
Oh,
hey man.
Yeah.
It's still a cool book.
Yeah. Hey, look.
A half a point off.
Yeah, right. I was only half a point off, so but I'll tell you what though. I'm not gonna lie. when I was pressing these books up and guessing my grades. Now I didn't like change once I had my final guess on my paper. I kept it that way. But when I was first pressing this, I was like, it's going to be a 6.0.
Mm-hmm.
I was right there too, like 6.0. But after even after the press, and I'm like, man, well, I don't know if the press did as much as it could have for this book. I tried to clean, and that's where I was like, I'm gonna be conservative and go with the 5.0.
Yeah.
So it's a little tough to see that 4.5, but still half point off. So it makes me question then. It really makes me question then if two things. They looked at this and said, hey, it's a defect, or they didn't give me the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the spine and the white crossing over, saying, you know what, if that was black, it's digging into the color. You and I, or just with the human eye, naked eye, we can't see it. So we're gonna really take him down for that, because I can imagine what this black spine would look like if it was centered, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be pretty.
I started I was going to pull out a comic, but I've started to, because I can't see it. You're saying bumpy. You described it as bumpy. I started really feeling it, because what you can't see with your eyes, you can feel with your fingers.
Right.
And then you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, there's 6, 7 dings here, and you can't see them with your eyes.
Yep.
And by the way, JoJo's in the house. What's up, JoJo?
Oh, JoJo. Ah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you're feeling it with your hand, you can discover a lot more things than what your eyes can see, or in collaboration with your eyes.
Right, definitely. And that's I think you hit it spot on, because when I was feeling it, that's what I said. It's definitely it's a interesting lumpy spine, and that's what I felt. So, hey, but again, yep, I'm happy to have this book. Let's look at the numbers here for Spotlight. 32, CGC 4.5. I paid $52 for this book. And if I bought these books online and I had to pay shipping, that shipping is included in my purchase price. So I paid, because I think I remember paying like $42 for this book and it being $10 shipping. So I paid $52 total. With the cost of CGC, it cost me a total of $87. Now, fair market value when I did this was for 4.5 was $60. So I technically am taking a $27 loss if I was to try to sell this now. But I did this about a month ago. The market may have already changed. There is a lot of hype on this book. So look, regardless of MCU hype, this is a decent Bronze Age book to have with an awesome character. I think this book is going to continue to increase in value regardless.
Yep. Great book. Anything I love 4.0s for some reason. 4.0s, 4.5s. They're just a good, solid book. Like if you had that just in a Mylar or a Poly, you'd say, man, that's a good looking book. That's a solid book.
Absolutely. Right, absolutely. I mean, hey, I got my Amazing Spider-Man 129. It's a 3.0. And I'm blown away at how nice it looks in that, in the CGC slab. And yeah, I think, obviously we invest in the grade. We care about the grade. But I think the collector in us, at the end of the day, if we have something that presents well and we can look at it and just feel satisfied looking at it, it's going to, it's going to mean something to us.
Yeah, that grade's that book may be a 4.5, but that case is a 10, man.
There you go. I like that. I like that. All right. Let's see if we got some comments. Asian Funk, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Alex is right. It's just cool to own the book regardless of grade. Cobra, I hear you. What's going on, Asian Funk? Yeah. My goal is all the Batman villains. I'll take a 0.5 for them. I hear it. All right, guys. Well, we got one more book. I was shooting high for this book. So we like this. So I said it's a spider theme. This was the one book that wasn't Spider-Man, but of course, still spider theme.
Mhm.
And this one goes along with not just a spider theme, but with the black suit theme. Marvel Team Up
There it is.
141. Purple is one of my favorite colors. I love this. Really cool thing. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. Purple is one of my favorite colors next to green. And I love covers that have circles in the background. So really, really simple yet beautiful cover. This does not complete my CGC collection of a black suit. I almost sent in my Amazing Spider-Man 252. I have 2 copies. I held back. I'm thinking of maybe selling both of them to get a nice high grade of 1. And maybe I'll send that in next year if I do something like that. But this, I was like, you know what? I'm confident in a nice high grade for this. I'm sending it in. Want to take a look at it?
Yeah, let's do this.
Yes. Beautiful purple, by the way. I think the one thing, because I've seen a lot of these covers, and the one thing about this book that just jumps off the page or the cover to me, first and foremost, is how purple it is, how nice and glossy and popping that purple is. I've seen a lot that look more like maybe like a fuchsia. I don't know if that's a proper term, but you know, where the purple is definitely kind of faded. So this is some nice popping purple. Let's try to take a look at this spine. Really smooth. You can see the. Go ahead.
Something right above. Was there a ding, like a non-color breaking ding, right above the 60 cent on the black? Maybe I just saw this the staple, but it almost looked like a.
I think that was the staple.
Probably okay. So it's clean then, huh? That spine's clean.
Yeah, there's one. I see one spine tick, just one. It looks like it kind of breaks color. Now this is maybe slightly off center because you see a little bit of the black from the back. Shoot, it's really right there. There you go. You can see a little bit of the black. There is a one spine tick right in the middle of this cannon of the gun or barrel of the gun, right above my finger, right there.
Yep, I see it. I see it. That's a small. That's pretty small.
Yeah, very small. You don't see the color break once it gets into like the silvery area, just on the black. And that's about it on that spine.
Nice. Corners look sharp.
Yeah, definitely some sharp sharp bottom of the spine. The top of the spine, let's see. I would say the top of the spine probably could be a little sharper up there.
Like a little feathered maybe.
Yeah, just a pinch, you know.
That's two. That's maybe two then. If you're getting really nitpicky.
Right.
I've seen 9/8 with worse, Chris. Don't worry.
Yeah. Now, see, so this is where I think it's so tough, you know. I think this is the main thing too why I was like, this is not a 9/8 corner, but it fools you.
Misaligned.
You got because you can see kind of the pages of the book coming off because it's a little off center, and they're super clean and sharp. So you want to look at this in totality and be like, oh, well, that's clean. But if you actually kind of, and I remember when I was looking at it and I lifted the cover off of the pages from the back side, you can kind of see that there is a tiny bit of a blunting going on to that corner where it's probably not 9/8 sharp. It's like I said, it's really hard to pick out. But when you look at the bottom, and that's one thing that I can gauge. I look at that bottom and I'm like, it's perfect.
That's good.
And then when I compare that to the top, you know, I was like, yeah, it's definitely not on the level of the bottom. very close, but definitely smooth along the edge. And then the bottom.
Yeah, that looks sharp all along the edges.
And then of course, yeah, nothing going on throughout the bulk of the book. So let's look at the back now. We got a little bit of I don't know. Just the white doesn't pop. What's really interesting is, what was the book? Was it the yeah?
KSM4.
Even the Marvel Spotlight. I don't know if you guys can tell. It just, even though it's dirty, it looked whiter. So I don't know if this was like a clean white to begin with, but it just has kind of like an off-white or shaded feel to it. So I don't know if that is anything that would affect the grade, or it's just maybe the fact that the print, like I said, the scale of white wasn't like this bright white to begin with. I'd have to put it up with another one of these issues to compare. But yeah, I'm looking at the corners. Bottom again is just so smooth and sharp.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to see because the book sits so low. I don't know if this is new with their cases, but that indentation sits like right where the bottom of the book is, and it's kind of hard to see. There's the spine. So nice and smooth. The black on the back, you can see that one color breaking tick enter into the back right there.
I wonder if they count that as 1 or 2.
Right. I do believe it. You know what? Nope, it's not the same one. I'm looking at the front. The other one on the front is like right over here. This one is up higher. This one actually comes off of where the staple sits.
Okay, so that's
the bottom of the staple, and it's definitely color breaking right there.
It comes right off that staple, though.
Yep.
You got to think that's a little forgiving, but I would still count it as a defect.
Yeah.
Apple. Yeah. Apple. I've seen 9/8 with worse.
Okay, I'm gonna say too that this, man, I don't know, that's really tough.
I feel like you're trying to trick us too right now with this very scrutinizing evaluation.
No, I just know it's tough for you guys because you're not in person here. Keep in mind that this is a black corner, and it's tough because when I look at it again, I think just because it's black, I want to say like, well, oh shoot, how do we?
Yeah, I see a little white. Is there a little white at the corner there?
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna say there is, but it's so small. But it's just like right at the tip.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like, I don't know if you call that like a little kind of feathered out, but
that's tough.
Yeah.
I see it though. I know what you're saying.
So
now white, just because it's that black, it stands out.
Right, exactly. So my guess on this Amazing Spider-Man, Marvel Team Up, 141. I guessed a 9.4. I think when I first looked at this book, I wanted to go higher. Even after I gave it a press, I'm like, shoot, man, could this be my first 9.8? But you look at those couple of color breaking ticks, and a little bit of those corners not being as sharp as they possibly can be. I said, yeah, I'm gonna say 9.4. So that was my guess.
Okay. That's tough, man. Okay, so what I'm seeing is the two color breaking ticks, one on front, one on back. So that's two. What was going on with that top corner right above the Marvel, the corner box there, the spine side? Did you say something was going on up there?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I did say it's probably not like I think both of these are probably like not 9.8. You know, I said that the corner is probably not
Yeah.
9.8 sharp, and then maybe just
Yeah, that's
a
really nitpicky. Man, that's really nitpicky, you know?
yeah.
Gosh, I'd hate to call those defects because that'd be 4 defects. That'd be like a 9.2 already. And I don't know about the dinginess on the back because if it's consistent all the way across the
Right.
white, if you don't see anything like, well, on this side it's a little bit more tan, you know, a little bit more of that yellowy
Right.
or off white than this side. If it's consistent all the way across, I don't think they're gonna notice it or
Yeah.
mark it off.
It
Dude,
kind of reminds me of that white that not eggshell, but there's that a certain type of interior white, like an interior paint white that has a little bit of gray in it.
Yeah, you want that sucker to look primer, but it's primer white, but it's always a little bit off. Man, I hate to call it a 9.2 or a 9.0 because that's really nitpicky. I think those top corners, I can't really tell what you're saying on the open book side of the top corner, how it's just not aligning. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's really hard to see the smoothness of the cover corner itself because it sits off of the really sharp interior pages.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, but every other, you got for me, the bottom corner is perfect. The bottom is smooth. This bottom is perfect.
Perfect.
In the back, I think everything on the back is perfect. Except for just the
You got that white. So let's say 3 defects. So it's a 9.4.
You got anybody in the chat? What do we got? We got a 9. Apple's guessing 9.8. Cobra says 9.6. Yeah, I think those couple color breaks killed the 9.8 possibility.
It could be a 9.4 or 9.6, and you guessed 9.4, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be really nitpicky if it was a 9.2 to count those top corners. That's super nitpicky.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I've seen better grades.
JoJo said 9.6. 9.6, 9.2, 9.0. Read or die. You're killing me, man.
Yeah.
Chance says 9.2. Get to the reveal already.
That's true.
All right, guys, let's do it. I know the anticipation, right?
Yeah, I'm sweating.
This is it. This is the grand finale, the last book tonight, guys. I want to once again thank Alex for coming on today. Thank you all for sticking with us, and this is going to be an exciting one. So
9.6, baby. Here we go.
Hold on.
It's going to be a 9.8, and then everyone's going to, the credibility of CGC is going to go down.
I know, right?
9.6. Because it can be 3 defects for a 9.6. Okay, 9 point. Show me that. Show me the 2 humps, baby. Where is this? Where is it?
Taking my time.
Once you see that top hump, you know it's a 9.8. Six. 9.4. Okay. I got you.
9.4. So
I've grown to know what you see first. If you see a little speck of black here, 2 here. Hey, dude, that's a good grade. That's
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm definitely happy, especially when looking at. I mean, I think I got this this book for a decent price when I did. So let's bring up those numbers. In a CGC 9.4, I paid after shipping. I paid $40 for this book. Not bad. With my CGC cost, the total cost of this book was 75. When I did these numbers, fair market value was at about 110. That would be a $35 investment. And hey, I am extremely happy. I've seen this book in lower grades where you see spine ticks, you see blended edges, going for $40-50. So I think I did a very decent job, and happy to have this. Like I said this about Secret Wars #8, which I got an 8.0 on, which I was happy with that as well. And this one, like, I should have had these as a kid because this is my guy, and I never had him until I bought him about maybe a little over a year ago. So yeah, I'm very happy.
What did you say you had into that book total? What's your total investment in that one?
75.
Oh yeah. Consistently, for some reason, like this year in the last couple months, it's been selling upwards of 120, 140, nice. 130,
yep.
130 again, 110, 120, 130, 130, 100. Dude, that's a good solid book, man.
Yeah. I think if you ever see Tom Holland in a black Spider-Man suit, it's gonna go crazy. Stuff's gonna go crazy. Mm-hmm. At least for a while.
Yep. Game over,
man. Awesome. Well,
book, man.
What's that?
That'll be $1,000 book then if he does.
Right. Oh man, awesome stuff, guys. Alex, thank you, man. So you got Alex gets 2 out of 4 today, spot on. And then we both were a little off on a couple of the others. I'm just, man, Alex, I'm gonna say thank you again, because I really do believe watching your videos and getting into this book has helped me so much. And for me, and we talked about this a little pre-show too, is that I'm not a huge slabber. I've grown to enjoy getting books and slabs. I do believe I'm going to be doing at least one submission every year. Maybe CBCS next year. I don't know. But this fun of it, guessing the grade, actually the whole cleaning the book, pressing the book, getting it as nice as you can, sending it out, guessing the grade, and doing this. It's like that is worth like an admission price to me as well. It's like it's so much fun. Especially being able to have other folks to do it with as well, man. I mean, this is exciting.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing this experience with us, letting me be a part of it, letting the chat be a part of it, and guessing grades. That's super fun, and we're only going to get better if we share this knowledge with each other, because it takes this experience to make me a little bit better. It takes watching other videos, unboxings, and stuff to just make us all better graders. It's all very valuable.
Right. Absolutely. Before we go, I want to talk about one more thing, and then we'll look through some comments as well. But many of my viewers know, and you probably have seen me talking about as well, Alex, I have been pretty, straightforward in criticism with CGC, but not just CGC, but, with the slabbing and grading industry in general. And I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about your recent experience about getting that. It was the Catwoman book, right? Where
yep.
I believe, did you guess, what'd you guess on that? A 9.2?
Oh my gosh. It was like a 9.0, 9.2. Yeah. Somewhere super low.
Right. And you ended up getting a 9.8. So
9.8,
now, obviously, as the owner of that book, it's like, well, I'm not going to argue it, but so and I know, and one thing that I want to thank you, as well as probably many others that share their stuff on YouTube, and even with mine, I mean, I'm very happy with the decent consistency in these grades, besides a couple books from CGC. But I wanted to ask you, when it comes to specifically that book, because so many of your books were spot on to, or so close to what you assumed they would be. Mm-hmm. But did getting that book back at a 9.8, spark any kind of feelings towards consistency with CGC, or any kind of a concern in terms of their grading process and what that means for the ultimate value of these books on the secondary market?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one thing that was nice about your video today and what we experienced today was if we missed, it was most likely missing on the low end. So CGC graded it lower than what we thought. We thought it was higher. There's not as big of a conflict if it's that way versus the other way around. If we guess, oh my gosh, it can't be more than a 6 and it gets an 8, you're like, oh man, what am I missing here? What don't I know? Because these are the experts. Now, when I unboxed that, I was really scared about what releasing that video, what my comments would do to CGC or what they would think of, CGC as a company, if they ever came across it for some reason, what they'd think of me saying that about their company. And then it's one of those things where it's like a Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa thing, where it's like, okay, they hit 72 bombs that year, that season. Each of them broke, Roger Maris's record, but there's an asterisk. There's got to be, it's a different time. Like he played in the 60s. They're playing in the, the 1990s and 2000s. And so there's a little bit of it's a different time. And so what I was thinking about that book in that same light was it's a 9.8 on this label, but if I sold that book, I would have to disclose that this is misgraded on the high end, or I feel that, you have to see this defect to fully understand what you're buying. And if I didn't disclose that, there'd be a pissed off buyer.
Right. Yeah. So. And that makes a lot of sense. And I think that goes to, and I've heard this too, from a lot of collectors about saying, don't just buy the grade, buy the book. Yeah. That's one thing. I went into my Amazing Spider-Man 129 being a 3.0, but I mean, it was such a beautiful 3.0, so I can be happy with it. But yeah, I mean, when you look at the flip side of that, when we think that something, but man, this doesn't look like a 9.8, it could be a bit concerning, obviously, to the collector. A couple more questions. So let me ask you this: have you ever seen CGC or not? We're not focusing on just CGC, CBS, or even PGX. We'll talk about the top 3. Have you seen any of their graders grading a book or any part of the process?
No, the only one, and I don't know if you're alluding to or leading up to that one video of the Superman.
Oh, right. Yeah, no.
I don't know if you're leading up to that, but no, I've never seen him. But the only thing I've heard, there's been some great resources on YouTube and in our own community. One of them being like Reggie has done a lot of great with their head grader. And then Brittany, who's, maybe they're some sort of operations manager or something like that, really high up in the organization. From what I've been told in the process and the only thing I know about the process is they should know, according to Matt, their head grader, they should know within about 10 seconds what the grade is. It's like insanely fast. Like they can pick up a book and just based on their experience, they can look at it 10 seconds later. They should know. And now, of course, they may verify that by looking at it a little closer, but he said, I'll know within 10 seconds what that grade is, and I think just the volume that they're going through maybe sometimes is how they would, but we're all human. We all make errors. Like I sent in the Hellboy that I sent in. I thought that book was perfect. The first appearance of Hellboy, Next Men 21. I thought that book was perfect. I looked at every one of my books, and if it had a ding, I'd put it back in the pile to be maybe graded later, or like this isn't even worth grading to me because I wanted high grade in those submissions that I did recently. And then the last couple ones like that Catwoman, the Wonder Woman, those ones were for redemption. I wanted better than what I got in my first submission, which was all corner crunch dings like 8.5s, 8.0s, 9.0. And so I wanted redemption. So anything that was better than those. So if it had a ding, I'd still send it. But for those high grade ones, I didn't even send them. And so I missed some of those big dings that would cause that book, which I thought was perfect, to get a 9.2. So they're human. They just like us, they could miss something. So they probably, it's consistent both ways probably.
Yeah. I think overall for me, and one thing that I've been trying to do is, and people, I do this in a lot in life where I'm very vocal and passionate about stuff. It's not just with comic books, obviously. I fought to have our youth basketball reinstated. I brought it to the uh, 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 city hall and to city council and won to get our youth basketball reinstatement stated. And by doing that, I had to play attorney with the school district, with the city that ran the league. And there was a point where the superintendent of the school district and the head of public works were telling their employees to not say anything to me.
Oh wow.
Nothing, no comment. So I was getting the no comment treatment, but ultimately my goal, and I learned through that process that the city doesn't trust the people because the people doesn't trust the city, but yet the city isn't transparent. But yet when they are, all the people do is complain,
Yeah.
pitchforks, and the school district. So there's this lack of mutual respect and understanding and conversation. So they're seeing me as an enemy, but I'm like, hold on, no. The bottom line here is our kids. They need a sports program, and we need to work together. And I ended up being this, building block to bring all these, the school district, the city council, in the community together to see, look, when we work together, we can get things done. I use that as an example because I want everyone that watches my channel and everyone in the community. And if, like you say, yeah, if somebody with CGC or CBCS happens to ever watch our channels as YouTubers and we have this platform, my criticism and when I speak out about them isn't supposed to be negative because I will back them up as soon as somebody says CGC is a scam and you collectors are silly for sending. I'm like, hold up, and I'll defend them. But what I like to do when I talk about transparency is, as a businessman myself, I believe CGC's business model, along with CBCS's and PGX, and even like the EGS and all these upcoming grading companies, I believe the business model can continue to evolve. And I think we're at a pinnacle right now because if we think about it, 20 years is nothing in the totality of what this grading industry is going to be. And I think CGC has learned so much along the way, has evolved so much along the way. And I really do feel that we're at a point right now where grading comics and slabbing comics is so important to the future of the hobby and to the industry. Yeah. I just think it needs to evolve. I think these companies do need to be transparent. And I think once they do that, it'll really provide a better working relationship with everyone, the consumers, the collectors, the industry, and all this. And that's kind of where I'm shooting at when I talk about this stuff.
Sure.
I don't know if you have anything to.
Yeah, it's so interesting because what you're talking about is, I love the analogy when you said the city council or the city that you live in. When they're transparent, people complain, but people want transparency. We want to know what's going on. So one of the number one complaints I hear, or not that I hear, not that they're funneling to me, but I notice people saying, well, this is a 9.6. How is it not a 9.8? There's no grader's notes. There's no grader's notes for this 9.4. I want grader's notes. I want to know what caused this from being everyone wants that 9.8. What caused this book specifically to be the 9.6? Can you just tell me there was one small little ding that you missed, sir, when you submitted this book? But if they were to do that, would a collector be willing to sacrifice turnaround time for that? Because maybe that's what it is. It adds workload to the grader. I have to now write, instead of saying this book is clearly a 9.6 versus this one that's a 9.8. But now this guy wants me to document every little thing I see that causing this to be a 9.6 when I know as an experienced grader that this is a 9.6. So transparency, we're crying for transparency. We want to know, like, what are your standards? If you're saying you have the Overstreet standards plus an extra list of standards,
right?
We want to see those, but then at the same time, like, that's going to add man hours. That's going to add, the gross domestic product is going to go up, and we're going to cry about that then, So
right. Yep.
It's a double-edged sword for both.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I just saying it's a double-edged sword both ways.
right, exactly. And I love that you brought that up too, because it really is. And I think, as much as I will keep having these conversations, you're absolutely right. Uh, CGC uh, is not going to change anything as long as their model is working and bringing them money. And it's only doing that not because they're lying to us or it's a scam. They're doing that because we demand it, because the people demand it, the consumers demand it, the collectors demand it. So, but I am hopeful that, like you said, there's always that, give and take and understanding. Uh, what's the term I'm looking for? Oh shoot, I'm blanking. Where cost benefit. You have to look at the cost benefit analysis of, am I willing to pay? CGC is already what, maybe a few dollars more than CBCS. You're already, and I'm speaking for maybe the majority of people, but not all people, right? You're already getting maybe a better looking slab or a better looking label. And maybe for some reason you think their grading is more valid. So you're willing to pay a little more for that. Now, are you willing to pay $5 more to have those graders notes on every single book? So if we get to a future where CGC can analyze that and say, well, shoot, we're not going to lose business. We might actually gain business by raising our costs and adding that there. So yeah, I think as long as the industry stays healthy and the consumers just continue to demand whatever they want, they're going to go with whatever is going to make them money. So I just like continuing to have the conversation. It's fun, and I think more people are talking about it. And I do encourage everyone to have this conversation with an open mind and respectfully to all parties involved, because at the end of the day, we're all part of this hobby and we all want everyone to succeed.
Yeah, I agree. And you always do it in a respectful way. I like how you empathize with both sides, or at least try to see the other side before you make your point. You're really examining. And that's what I try to do too. I just try to empathize and understand if this is what I want, but then I also have to understand there are ramifications to what I want too. Like, is that going to cause a bigger problem if I want all my books to have graders notes? Is it going to cause my books to be 2 more weeks late? So,
Right. Absolutely. Awesome, Alex. Good stuff, man. Thank you so much for diving into that there with me. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you all for guessing the grades. JLS, what's going on, man? Slim Comics. So, guys, again, I just want to say thank you all for joining. If you guys aren't familiar with Alex the Comic Hoarder yet, please give him a sub on YouTube. That is below. And as you guys can see, all right. No, right there. Oh, there's me on Instagram. Oh, look, there's Alex on Instagram. Right there.
It's so sophisticated.
So, yeah. So go check us out. Alex, did you have any last words for the day?
No, I just appreciate it. I enjoy your content, man. You make great videos, entertain me like several times a week. So I appreciate it. Thanks for doing what you do.
I'm honored, man. The feeling is mutual. I've learned a lot from you over the years. I've learned a lot from probably a lot of people in the comments right now watching. So I love this community. I know that the world's a crazy place right now, and I am just so thankful that we can come together in a way. And I always say this too. I mean, social media can be used for, really ugly, nasty stuff, but it also can be such a tool to bring people together. And I'm happy to be a part of this community. So Alex, thank you so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. All you guys in the chat, thank you so much. Longbox Love Affair, Cobra Commander, JLS, Jojo, Newbie, Desmond, thank you guys so much. Catch us on the rewind if you guys are just popping in, and catch our upcoming videos on YouTube. Find us on Instagram. And again, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining us. Hope you all have a good evening. And until next time.